Okay, so today we're working on this Vokera Compact HE. It was 35, Compact 35 HE. The problem we have on this is that's leaking water, as you can see. Conveniently just going in the sink, and water is coming from this area here. Now I'm not too sure whether it's coming from plate to plate, coming through that hole where the screw is and leaking out, or it's coming from where this pump assembly is joined with the bottom assembly here. So it's either coming from just there, or it's coming from that plate to plate area. If I have a look underneath the boiler, like where the plate is, you can see a leaking. There are some corrosion marks on the plate, and some at the top as well. So we'll just open it up and have a look to see what's happening. It's not the cartridge that's leaking, that's bone dry, so the culprit area is just there. Let's open it up and have a look, and let's hope that once I've turned these valves, they're not going to start to leak out of there, because that's what happens with the Vokeras most of the time. When we operate these flow and return valves, after a while, then they start to leak. But let's see, let's hope for the best. Okay, so far what I've done is I've removed the condensate pipe that runs down here, which is this silver pipe that then connects to the condensate trap in the back, which is just there. So I've removed that out of the way. Then there's a copper pipe that runs between the heat exchanger and the pump there, which is just sat here. I've also removed the gauge. Whenever you remove the gauge, just make sure it's not clogged, which I'll clean it. But majority of the time you'll find that these are clogged up. And I've also got rid of the expansion vessel hose that was connected just in the back there. So now I'm ready, and I've also undone the two screws holding the pump and the pump manifold in situ. So one was just there and another one was in the back over there. So now, once I've removed this retaining clip, which is just there, this pump, the whole assembly should lift up, and then we should be able to inspect what's going on. So my long nose plier, let's have a look at that screw clip, not a screw, it's a clip holding it. I don't want to flood the area, but let's hope I can lift it with one hand. I think I'm going to be needing two hands for it. One sec. Disconnected the cable, it's isolated from there already. Disconnected it, put some tape on live and neutral if there's any acid in the back or anything like that. So that's secured. Now I'm ready to remove this assembly. Let's just try it now. Okay. Let's just have a quick glance at this to make sure this is all okay. Yeah, this looks okay to me. Now, I'm not convinced that the leakage was on the heating circuit, because the water pressure wasn't going down. So let's see, and the water, when I was feeling it under, when it was leaking in there, the water that I felt was fairly cold, although the heating was running. So I'm thinking it's something to do with the water side, with the cold water and hot water side. So let's see, let's have a quick look. Now, some of the marking that I see, it's just there around that area. Now, I'm not sure if it's coming out of this O-ring up here, but if it was out of there, then I would expect it to reduce the water pressure in the heating circuit, which it wasn't doing that. Obviously there are some of the marks of some kind of leakage in the past, but it's not leaking out of there. The rest of the area seems to be bone dry. That's where it can become just a bit tricky to find. Okay, let's just eliminate the water circuit. So what I'm going to do now is I've isolated flow and return from underneath, and I've also isolated cold water just in case if I need to remove the plate-to-plate heat exchanger. But before I go ahead and do that, I want to know where the problem is. I don't like just changing parts for the sake of changing them. So let's see. So I'm going to isolate it from there, or unisolate it from there I should say. Let's see. Oh, hold on. There you go. Okay, so now that is where our problem is. Where does that leak? Okay, so that leaks onto that area there. That's where this mark is coming from, and then from underneath it looks like as if it's coming from here, but it's actually coming from this area here. There's a pinhole. Let's just try it. We just isolate that water again. Okay, let's see. There we go. Oh, there's another leak up there. I'm only joking. Okay, so that's what the problem is. That's good. Now, where are our parts that we've bought from Plumbing and Heating Centre in Bradford? So it's not this bag, but that's my van stock, some controllers. So let's see what we bought, just to be on the safe side, guys. When the customer reported that problem. Good morning. So, good morning, you okay? That's customer here. Okay. So I've got the part that's just here. And the part number is just there. So let's just replace that. So we found the leak now. And obviously the leak is just on there. We've got the new part ready. And it's the matter of taking that old part out, replacing it with this one. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to reuse all the O-rings because O-ring part doesn't come with this part. Well, it wasn't in this box at least anyway. So what I need to do is now we need to undo this clip here, this clip at the bottom, undo this screw and move that plate-to-plate heat exchanger just slightly back, and we should be able to, and also obviously undo this as well, so we should be able to wiggle this out. It needs to go up and left for it to come out. So let's just try doing that. Guess what? Yep, gas valve sat there. Had to remove the hot water pipe from it to free the whole assembly in the back, which is all kind of connected all here. Removed the PRV pipe, removed this clip for the flow, and now I'm in a position where I managed to lift this whole assembly up, as you can see. So now that it's out and it's free from here, I should be able to just take it out, all being well. Makes it even more difficult with one hand. Let's see. Here we go. So that's where the problem was. So it comes as a full unit, including the diverter cartridge. So we don't need to remove this clip or replace this diverter cartridge, but this O-ring at the top, that didn't come with the part, so that'll have to be replaced. Beside that, just need to clean everything out, put plenty of silicone grease on it, not just silicone grease on it. I'll empty that trap as well because that looks full, and it's just a matter of putting everything back together in the reverse order. So as this was the perfect time to remove this plate-to-plate heat exchanger and give it a rinse, I thought I'll do that now. As you can see, the jacket has been burnt, which seems like must have overheated when somebody carried out some soldering underneath it. Because otherwise, if it was going to overheat due to the heat exchanger itself, then the rest of it wouldn't remain intact. And obviously, as we're all aware, heat rises to the top, so I would expect the top to go first. But let's see. For those of you who are new to it, we have a clean section, so cold water entering, coming out, or the other way around, and then we have the heating circuit. So the water flows, there's an arrow sign on, as you can see, so it flows in this direction, and the heating circuit is this one, which is always the mucky one. So if you take it out and you don't know which one is which, just have a look inside, and 9 out of 10 you can tell by having a clean section, as you can see there, and then a mucky section. So let's see what comes out of it. Not too bad. Okay guys, so just an add-on. Water supply is isolated, so the cold water is isolated and not entering into the boiler anymore. Obviously, the whole thing is just unassembled here. But when I run this cold water tap now, I'm sure you guys have heard it as well, but I saw and heard that there was some water starting to drip out of the boiler. What may have caused that? What do you reckon? And it came out of the hot water side. So the hot water pipe that's connected to the boiler, that's where the water started to come out from when I ran the cold tap here. And bearing in mind the hot water side was partially open because I left that open to drain the boiler pipe here. So this was partially open. Let's just run the cold water side again. What's going on here? What do you think? Okay, let's just put everything back together. Okay, so all done now. Boiler's back on. Working on heating. Everything's back to normal. No more leaks. And thankfully, no leaks from the valves as well. I'm glad about that. That's another one done.